everyone to Silent Savers TV. I'm Grazen.
I'm Noble Gannon.
And it is your boy King Blackfang.
And today we're going to bring to you our combined top 5 games of 2024. They're in no particular order, so let's go ahead and get started.
And just a reminder to all, like Grazen said, this is no particular order. These are just the games we found personally that have been our, favorite combined top 5 of 2024. So things that have either meant something to us a lot more or something that just, resonated with us.
All right. Starting off, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Damn. So, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I think this game, just continuing from Remake, just the amount of content they packed into the game, the music itself, the overworld, like the amount of story content in it was, I think overall it did a really good job. Enjoyed playing with Cloud and getting to switch between different party members and starting a new campaign, getting to start out like if I wanted to play with Tifa, I could do that. The amount of mini games that they put into this was also crazy too.
I remember even when getting demo that came out.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, there's so much content in this game. I think it was definitely worth being in the Game of the Year talks.
I will definitely have to agree. Just the fact that with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, it's wild how it's not telling a new story, really. I mean, it has its, to keep away from spoilers, it has its moments that, there may be something underlying going on. But overall, it is still the exact same story from, almost 30 years ago. But the presentation of it all is just next level. And like the gold standard of how to do a remake of a game.
I heavily agree with you there. Like, coming from playing, because I played a little bit of Final Fantasy VII originally on the, original systems while I played it on Steam, but when Remake came out, just to see how true they were to the game itself and the pacing, it felt great. And so I had high expectations for Rebirth because, Square Enix just kind of did their thing with Remake. And so to see them again bring such an old game into a new generation of gaming and have that, like, I'm amazed. I am amazed. And from what I've seen so far about this game, it's just been beautiful. I definitely plan to start it very soon.
Yep. And getting more into somewhat spoilery territory.
I'm not fight you.
I won't say too much. Just them changing the story slightly from the original as well. Right, where it seems like Aerith and Sephiroth have no more of what's going on in the whole world, right, compared to everybody else. And yeah, not to say too much, but yeah, it continues in Rebirth as well. And just seeing how that all plays out, the story beats, Chapter 12, where you finally get to take Tifa on that date if you wanted to, best girl, and get that moment. So. Definitely a fun game.
All I can say is I'm looking forward to Reborn or Realive or whatever they're going to call the last game.
Reunion.
Reckoning.
Ragnarok. Shit.
2 years. But yeah. Alright. Next one. Metaphor ReFantazio.
Ooh, boy. Okay, when it comes to Metaphor and Fantasio, I just gotta say, they did their fucking thing with this game, okay? And again, this is something that that's still in my queue of games to play, but I played a little bit of the demo, and I swear to goodness, bro, Atlus just continues to amaze you. So, continuing like off what Persona games, because we just had Persona 3 Reload to come out, so for them to, it caught me off guard when they dropped this, because I was like, y'all just released Reload, like, hold on, are we oh, okay. But as soon as you start the game, you hear the beautiful, heavily orchestral soundtracks of this game, the opera style vocals, you're immediately captivated. And that's one thing I would say was completely just beautiful about this game, I think it's also nice to see them kind of venture off into a different aspect. Again, I think the medieval theme kind of turned me off a bit, but at the same time, it kind of, you know, it's just the game feels way too good just to ignore it. And again, the whole story aspect of, you know, fighting these demons. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful.
And I agree with your take on that too. Just Atlas in general, music is always chef's kiss.
Always.
I actually like the medieval vibe, so Metaphor actually is a really nice game, especially for Atlas to take that route going to that time period. And then of course visually too, while it still takes from that Persona 5-ish art style, it still has its own spin on it, which looks really nice in its setting. So
yeah, to keep going with the art, like this, like I really do love the art in the game. I mean, you know, heavily inspired. I mean, in some cases, you know, a direct 1-to-1 of, you know, the Hieronymus Bosch style of art. But it is definitely great to look at in motion. But if anything I want to talk about with this game, it's the fact that it really delivers on the voice work. Like everyone came.
oh yeah.
Everyone came to play when it came to acting out.
I'll definitely say this. This is really a nice look at what a JRPG should stand for. And I think if they can release this, I'm, you know, excited to see what, you know, maybe if they do another Persona 5 game, I don't know, because they still haven't let that go, or what Persona 6 may look like if they ever do announce Persona 6. But, you know, the bar is there. The bar is there. The bar is set a little high with Metaphor ReFantazio.
I believe they did talk about Persona 6. So just with each iteration of the games that they keep coming out, because they did make another Persona 5 mobile game, with another character in between it, but they keep adding on each and every game. So coming with Persona 6, they can tie in together all these different aspects that everyone likes from these different games, coupled with the, you know, nice long 100-hour story as they always have. Just what else can you say about Atlas and their games?
And one more thing I'm gonna add here. I think a lot of people might have found this funny originally when they saw the monsters, how most of the monsters have the name Homo in like Great Worm Homobatera. I said, oh my gosh, bro, what are we doing? But I love it. The art style, oh, it's so beautiful. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to play the full thing. All right, next one, we're moving on. Black Myth Wukong.
Oh yes, such a good game. Like, even though, like, when you first see it, it makes you think it's a Souls game to a degree, but once you actually start playing it, it definitely has more of a, how do you put it, almost like a God of War type of feel to it. But as far as the actual gameplay, though, it is so, it's not trying to reinvent the wheel, but it's so good. Like, from the varied enemy design, in that even though it's not quite open world, it still very much delivers on each stage being this interconnecting paths to each different part of the maps with secrets to discover. Like, it is so well thought out and crafted. You would not think this is this developer's first game. It does not feel like their first game at all.
Yeah.
But no, they definitely hit it out the park with this.
I will
add
say,
on to that. Oh, go ahead.
I will say this. I like, having not played the game, but watching it through content creators and stuff like that. I love the amount of disrespect you get in this game.
Oh yeah,
and this game truly humbles you as the player. and makes you think like, hey, you're the next, Wukong in the coming and making and whatnot. But you get humbled. You're quick to get humbled in it, and I just love those moments where you actually feel like, wow, my CPUs are actually fighting back against me. They're not just taking, they're not just catching these hands left and right. They're actually dealing them back to me, and I love it.
Yep. And just adding on to that too, the amount of work and time they put into the game for their animations, like fighting Erlang Shen in the beginning of the story or later on, or fighting Wukong, as King Blackpink was saying, the amount of animation and work they put into this. You about to drink your potion, give you some more life back. Wukong comes in and steals it from you and starts drinking it himself. Just little notes of things like that just to make an amazing game, and they put so much of that into the game itself with their retelling of Wukong. So definitely have to applaud them for that and give them their flowers.
It's not recommended enough.
All right, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree.
Speaking of a game I cannot recommend enough.
Go on.
Go ahead.
I mean, what more can I say about Shadow of the Erdtree that has not been said about the base game? Aside from the fact that Shadow of the Erdtree is just more of greatness.
Expansion.
Like, just taking you to this new land. Like, even say you were level 600. You could take down any of the bosses in one hit. Oh, you will be humbled. You will be humbled with the quickness. All the way down to the god dang hippos.
The humbling.
Like, oh no, but aside from its crippling difficulty, it still delivers on like that world building from just the base game. Like, it fleshes out a number of other characters while bringing in more. Like, then that leads into like the character design. Like, Mesmer and that entire boss fight is just, and the music. Like, there's so much that can be said about Shadow of the Erdtree that it truly feels like a sequel to the base game. That it really does deliver on that very long wait we had between the DLC and the release of the game.
I will say this: it still baffles me that, this is a DLC or expansion. It still baffles me that this became a nominee of, Game of the Year nominee, and it's just because you're so used to it being an actual like new game that gets nominated for it. So I think it speaks for itself that a lot of people felt that way, that this right here felt like a new game or like you said, like a sequel to Elden Ring 1. Or sorry, just plain Elden Ring. So I think that right there is amazing in itself.
Yep. And I'll add on and say that this is how you do a DLC, adding in and packing in all this content that it feels like it's its own standalone game that you could have bought from the start, $60. And then just overall, what it did for the community itself. A lot of people able to enjoy the, again, bringing in unique bosses like Mesmer or, final boss. If you haven't got there yet, won't say the name, but just that final boss and that how dumb and stupid that last boss fight is to beat him. Like, that's how you do a game.
Oh yeah, between the new weapons, the new mechanics, the new leveling system. Like, so much new, all in just an expansion.
I would look towards Night Rain and see what that looks like.
See, that's another video where we talk about Night Rain. I got things to say.
Yeah, alright. Marvel Rivals.
No, hold on. You're not gonna do that. You're not gonna just say Marvel Rivals. No, we got to give this game the respect it deserves.
Last, but certainly not last. And certainly not least. The game that came out near the end of the year with a whole bunch of fanfare, was breaking records in beta.
In beta.
Overwatch Killer.
I ain't gonna call it Overwatch Killer yet.
I ain't gonna say
No,
that
the
just
Overwatch Killer. Is that what you're saying?
There was a decrease in the player base, yes, because again, Overwatch has been established for so long, and Marvel Rivals to me is that breath of fresh air where it kind of takes you back to OG Overwatch, where you have all of these brand new characters that you're able to work with. You have this system where you're able to, do stuff and kind of give and take now. But again, also, like I said, the president of not president Overwatch already have being an established game. They kind of, took the concept of what Overwatch is and built upon that. And again, there's just so much more room for improvement with Marvel Rivals.
Yeah, like the hero shooter concept itself.
Yes, that
isn't new, but Marvel Rivals definitely gives it a breath of fresh air, which is what I definitely love. Like, I love their approach and how, well, if everyone's broken, no one really is, right? Like, it makes you truly think about, okay, so we're on this map and we're playing this game mode, so maybe I shouldn't play this character who's not going to get much shine. It makes you have to plan out more, but at the same time, definitely feels fresh in its own right. And the other aspect I love, to make you kind of play together, because we all know we've all been guilty of hopping into quick play, not hopping into comms, just doing our own thing. But Marvel Rivals, has a slight remedy. Doesn't completely fix it, but slight remedy in that, hey, it kind of pays off to play together, because if you play Magneto, maybe you could play Scarlet Witch. Get a little chaos metal going on. Things like that. I love that little team up mechanic they have going on.
Yep. And the amount of characters that they bring into the game off rip.
Now, hold on, because there are a lot more Vanguard characters than anything right now. Duelist characters. There are a lot more duelist characters than anything. So I'm hoping that these next few characters they come out with are especially more geared towards Vanguards and specialists.
Yep. And just the amount of counters you can have to a character too. So you might have Iron Man on the field. Well, a good counter could be either Hawkeye, which can kill him in 1 or 2 hits, knock him out the sky pretty quick and easily. You'd even go Scarlet Witch, right? Sneak up behind him, go ahead and get him out the sky too.
I feel like you read my mind there, because I was about to say, or Scarlet Witch.
Yep. There's so many different counters you can have for their characters that come onto the battlefield, and then also revolves around the map. So there actually is a strategy component that goes into the games that makes it more fun. And while other games have it too, with the unique characters that Marvel Rivals has, because it has so many villains and heroes they can pull from the comics. It's an amalgamation of all those things together, and they knew how to do it right. That's the best thing to say about it. They knew how to do it right.
Yeah, and going with that, because can't talk about how they do it right and not mention the fact that the way the game is, it's so easy to pick up. It is almost impossible to pick up the game and find a character that you can't play at all. There's going to be at least 3 or 4 characters that you can play, but at the same time, it truly, like, even though it's really accessible, it truly does have that room to get really good. Like, you can still see night and day between a bronze player and, say, gold or plat.
Hold on now.
It definitely.
I don't
Like,
know, 'cause if that Hawkeye's getting headshots over and over, I ain't gonna say he a bronze.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what I'm saying, though. Like, a bronze Hawkeye isn't going to play the same as, a plat Hawkeye. There are different approaches they may take. One of which, being making sure to use your explosive arrows to destroy terrain. Just a little tip to all you Hawkeye players that don't do that. You have explosive arrows. Please use them.
Now, I'm going to throw a little bit of realism in here. Now, I'm not saying that this is the greatest, hero shooter of all time, because there's, again, like I said, there's still room to improve. There's still room to grow. But again,
phase.
Yes, exactly. But it's still, again, a breath of fresh air from other hero shooters like Overwatch, Valorant, and everything else. And, I just think that again, with the Marvel universe just being so big, there's so much room for new characters to come in and for different play styles in the future. So, I don't really hear, personally, I haven't heard too much about, buff this character, nerf this character. All I've heard is people really complain about Jeff's ult, really. But
I still don't know why they complain about his ult. It's really not that hard.
Because skill issue, that's why.
Wow. I think it's because if you're in the air above this man's ult, you should not be kicking.
And that's fair too.
Hitbox is a bitch. But I will say, one thing I really have found a bit difficult with Rivals is just, while it's completely free to play, there's just so much emphasis on this battle pass and so much emphasis on purchasing skins, because they are quite a bit expensive. We're looking at about $15 a skin using the premium currency, and it's just kind of like, all right, let's kind of maybe reel it back a little bit. But I mean, overall,
Now I feel with that, they're just taking more so that Disney Marvel name, that they're able to just bump it up a little bit. People are still gonna buy it. Especially look at some of these other games, they're charging about $20 for a skin or a color variant, which is kind of crazy.
I mean, you're right.
Taking money. But they are at least keeping the battle passes open, so you might not want anything from this battle pass, or you might find a couple things you might want on this, but you wait a little bit, you still have access to it. So that's another good thing if you're someone who's into that part of it.
I'm just really hoping they adopt the, once you buy the battle pass, you earn all the credits back to get everything back. Because as of right now, they don't have that. So that's something I'm hoping that they potentially adjust in the future. Because if you're having to drop an extra $3 per battle pass, just kind of a bit crazy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But, there are other games out there that do it and are just successful. So.
Yep, look at Naraka. Naraka's a good game for that. Yeah.
Noble, got anything else?
On this?
I would say as far as Marvel Rivals is concerned, there's not much else that can be said. It's still in a new phase, like I said, that honeymoon phase. So they still have, not to jinx it, knock on wood, they still have ways they can mess it up, but at the same time, they still have so much more to do, especially as at the time of this recording, we're right around the corner of their season 1, because all this time has just been season 0. So so we'll get to see how they handle a seasonal event and things of that nature.
All I gotta add at the end here is just, again, sorry, Grazon, you want to go first?
Oh, I was gonna say one last thing, but you can finish first and I'll say it.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Yes, please, if you are playing, have a healer on the team. Don't avoid being a healer, please. That was it.
That's like a pick first kind of thing. You gotta be willing to play around your team. Some people have to take sacrifice to be a healer from time to time. Unless
and
you're
a tank.
Yes.
and the tank.
At least one Vanguard and one healer. Like, even then, all of you still have to play really good, but at the bare
Oh my
minimum,
gosh.
you're gonna need at least one of those.
Because trust me, if you're going 0-4, people will be quick to call your ass out. But that's, again, every other hero shooter
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
But the final thing I wanted to just say about this was that, you know, overall with Marvel Rivals, I appreciate the more faster pace of the maps. I appreciate the dynamics of having, you know, team power-ups or team special abilities, where certain characters benefit off of, you know, other characters being in the game. I think really, like, this game really kind of brought back that feeling of wanting to play hero shooters with my friends, because I think this really opened up an opportunity for us to, at Silent Series specifically, for us to really come back together and play more of a co-op style game. Because right now, I'm not going to talk about that one other game we were playing, but boy, like I
Haven't
said,
touched it in a minute.
this is a breath of fresh air. This is not a battle royale. But that is all I have to say.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get to our honorable mentions of 2024.
Yep. So again, these honorable mentions are games that we thought could, you know, that came close, but we found specific elements in each of them that we liked and that we felt like were pretty close to our top 5. So just a few of our lovely honorable mentions are here on the screen.
Got Stellar Blade, Dragon's Dogma 2, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, Helldivers 2, and Astrobot.
We all know why Sparking Zero's over there in honorable mentions. We ain't gonna talk about that.
Bandai, you did a good job. Just go ahead and fix up that story mode a little bit. It'll be fine.
I want more solo content.
Yeah, and again, this is not us saying any of these are bad. These are all great games in their own right that could easily be in anyone's top 5.
Yes.
Just based off of personal preference. Just they were just missing a few points here or there.
But all right. Well, this is our combined top 5 games of 2024. I'm Gryzen.
I'm Noble Gannon.
And I'm King Blackfang. Look forward to a future video on what our most highly anticipated games for 2025 are.
Yep.
And beyond.
Tune into the next one. Peace.